Welcome back to Modified Solutions. Today we're going to be taking a look at a variable air volume box that has a hydronic reheat coil in it, and it's been giving us problems with the heating water valve letting hot water go by when it's calling for cooling. So it seems to me that the valve stem is not seating properly inside and stopping the water flow. Could be trash, could be anything, but let's take a look at it and see what we've got. Okay, so here's the two-way valve that's leaking hot water by. I'm just going to take it apart. I've valved it off already so that we don't have any issues with water pressure. I'm just going to keep turning this to get the actuator off of it. Unscrewing this. The screw that comes with it. Pop that. As you can see, got this stem. It has to come off. It is tight. Something that we can't deal with. Had to heat it up to get it to crack loose. Let some hot water through it. Now we can get that thing to spin free. It was cold. When you heat it up, it expands. The body expands faster than the stem. And the threads just kind of let go. Allow me to spin this thing out. Ever so carefully. Hopefully we can clean up this body on the inside where it seats and clean up the stem and put it back in, and it'll hopefully seat. I have seen these before where they were just gummed up and wouldn't properly seat. I've already tried. Yeah. See all that gummy stuff on it, on the stem. And that won't do. So I'm going to clean it up and try putting it back in. I'll get a little bit of the water out of the valve body. And I'm just going to use the Scotch-Brite pad to clean the gummy stuff off. First I'm going to wick some of the water out. And any trash that might be in there. And to clean it up at the same time. Just using paper towels. You can feel in there with your finger, and it's got no water sitting in it, a little tiny bit. If I can get that out of there. Let's rework this. Get a dry spot on there. I'm just going to wick some more of that water out. Soak it up. Absorb that. Now we're dry. Okay. We'll clean this up and put it back in. Okay, and as you can see, I'm just going to clean this up right here. Scotch pad. Get that brass to shine. Starting to shine up a little bit. Get all that gunk off of there. Main thing is this rounded part at the tip. It's got to be clean. The slightest bit of gunk or trash in this or the valve body can make it bleed by that hot water. And they won't keep zone temp in this office. This stuff's just non-abrasive enough to use on that brass. I'd highly recommend it. Don't use sandcloth. It's pretty much like new. Let's put it back in and see what we get. Okay, I'm going to put this stem back in, insert it in the valve body. We'll tighten it on down. Got the actual valve seat. Now we'll check it for leaks before we put the actuator on. Some water through it. Make sure it doesn't have any leaks. Let it warm up with both valves open, isolation valves. And then I'll go ahead and shut one of them off to build up pressure on the valve. See that it doesn't have any leaks. If it does, we might have a bad O-ring. Looks like we're in good shape. Okay, we can go ahead and put our actuator back on. I'm going to close this valve. Bring this back up. Put it back on. I've got it manually in the off position, so I can tighten it all the way down without any trouble. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it to the position it should be in, which is manual shut. Actually, we'll double check it at the computer first. And we'll see what we get when I seat it. Okay, so I've turned the thermostat all the way down to 68. It's 74 in the zone. It shouldn't be calling for any heat at all. And the valve position I verified is technically in the closed position. So it should be seated and not let any hot water through this coil. This is on the VAV box for this zone, and we're going to go ahead and open up both of these ball valves and see if we get any water flow. We shouldn't. And I'll just feel that to see if it gets hot. I don't hear any water flow now. Before it was just sailing through there. And it's staying the same temperature. There's no water going through it now. I think we got it. Go ahead and go back to the computer and verify the supply air temperature from the VAV box. is opening that damper, trying to cool. Got a lot of air going into the zone. Let's go see what we've got. So as you can see, it's getting plenty of airflow. It's in cool mode. Getting 58.5 degree air out of it. 59. So we are not heating. That is coming from the air handler. Before we were getting 90 degree air, 100 degree air. So that has solved our problems for today. Okay, so we found that it wasn't any trash in it or any major scoring on the brass or anything that's going to cause a permanent problem. So we were able to avoid having to spend hundreds of dollars on new parts, doing soldering, all that by just taking the stem out and cleaning it up and putting it back in. The temporary fix during a wait time, if you do have to buy that brand new valve and you have to wait for the parts, you can get them by just going ahead and locking it in on the front end workstation to cool mode and backing off the minimum velocity on the CFMs on the cool side to 0 CFM, and it'll back the damper off all the way to 0 position or closed, and it'll get them by as far as temperature. But if it's for something that you have to have fresh air, I don't recommend it. Maybe go to a minimum percentage, but not 0, and then it's still going to stay cold in there. So, you know, it doesn't seem like you might need all that cooling or heating, but sometimes, depending on if it's winter or summer, it makes a huge difference. You have to have it be able to trim out to maintain the set point. So we found that this is working now. We're good to go. And we'll see you next time on Modify Solutions. Make sure and hit that like or subscribe button. Send us any comments or suggestions. We'd love to hear them. Have a good day.